Imagine accidentally swallowing a small square packet hidden at the bottom of a beef jerky bag. You look down at the identical remaining packet, read the bold lettering, and freeze. You are now waiting for a supposedly deadly poison to take effect. This specific fear is widespread. Every year, poison control centers receive thousands of frantic calls from parents and pet owners terrified by this exact scenario. The packaging certainly earns that panic, as bold commands like "do not eat" and sometimes literal skull and crossbones printed on the paper. The messaging suggests that the contents are lethal. But if you actually sit and wait for that poison to kick in, nothing happens. There's no burning, there's no toxicity, and no sudden collapse. If standard silica gel is harmless to ingest, the aggressive packaging seems out of place. There is a specific reason manufacturers treat it like a lethal weapon, but it has nothing to do with the chemicals inside. To understand the false alarm, we have to look at what silica gel actually is. It is silicon dioxide, essentially a highly processed synthetic form of the same sand found on a beach. Manufacturers use acid to link silica particles, creating a microscopic labyrinth of internal tunnels that actively trap ambient moisture. A single gram contains over 700 square meters of surface area, allowing a 5-gram packet to hold 2 grams of liquid entirely contained inside. Because silicon dioxide molecules are chemically inert, human digestion cannot break them down. In corrosive stomach acid, they remain totally unaffected. They do not dissolve, and they are not absorbed into the bloodstream. The chemical makeup of standard silica is remarkably boring inside the human body. It is definitively not a poison. Those aggressive warning labels are targeting an entirely physical danger. The danger comes from the paper or plastic pouch that contains the beads. An indestructible packet is a physical choking hazard, particularly for infants, toddlers, and small pets who cannot chew it. If swallowed whole without choking, the tough exterior material can create a physical block in the narrow pathways of the intestinal tract. Doctors treat silica packet ingestion as a mechanical emergency. The primary concern is the physical obstruction, which requires a different set of protocols than a chemical poisoning. The "do not eat" label is ultimately a liability warning against physical choking hazards. Its presence on nearly every consumer product has inadvertently convinced the public that the beads themselves are toxic. While standard clear silica is harmless, the desiccant world hides a few lethal exceptions. The first is blue silica gel. Blue silica gel is coated in a toxic compound called cobalt chloride. This acts as a moisture indicator, turning the beads from deep blue to pink when they reach saturation. Ingesting this specific chemical actually does warrant an immediate call to poison control. The second exception is a product frequently mistaken for silica: super absorbent polymers, commonly known as water beads. Unlike silica, water beads physically absorb fluids and swell. If swallowed, they expand aggressively in the gut, causing severe bowel obstructions. These obstructions frequently require emergency surgical removal. Standard silica will pass through the body without incident. However, visually misidentifying these more dangerous alternatives remains a significant risk. Responding to an ingestion requires a clear protocol. The first step is checking the airway for signs of immediate choking or breathing distress. If breathing is normal, you must identify the object. Examine the remaining packaging to rule out the presence of toxic cobalt chloride or expanding water beads. If you confirm it is just standard clear silica gel, the response is simple. Give the person a glass of water, monitor them for mild stomach discomfort, and let the inert material pass through the digestive system. We react to the skull and crossbones with panic because we assume the warning is about a chemical weapon. With an understanding of how these beads interact with biology, the label is much less intimidating. The real danger isn't the chemical inside the packet, but the packet itself. While the beads are harmless, we must remain vigilant against the mechanical risks of the pouch and the more dangerous lookalikes found in the modern home.